losing. Calm down. Oh, damn you, world.
Ready?
Muscle.
I'm ready.
Oh, ready? Right. Okay, let me, can I just tell you the title of this?
Yeah.
The title, if you wouldn't mind putting it onto the YouTube, is We Need to Talk About Oxbridge. That's the title. So, where's my audience gone? Anyway, right, ladies and gentlemen of Hyde Park, today I'm talking about the subject I love the most, which is Oxbridge. We need to talk about Oxbridge. Firstly, let me demonstrate what Oxbridge is to the masses, to the people, and then I'll tell you what, then I'll describe what it really is and what it really does. So Oxbridge is an institution that's about 600 years old. Don't quote me on that because it's a bit hit and miss with when and where. And the idea is, in their mind, that they educate people, the best people of the country, to then go into jobs of the UK. And this university, which I'll be describing as school, this school is just purely there to give the best form of education to those students, pupils that attend that place. My hypothesis is that's true, but the real reason it operates is what I'll be describing right now. And what Oxbridge really is a way of mass control over the brightest minds of the UK and other places across this world. So what does that mean? This means that once you own somebody's perception of the world, you own that person. This is a basic fact of life. If I own the way you perceive the world, if I own the way you will act upon that vision, then I own that individual. That individual is no longer a sentient, independent thinking being. He's in actual fact being controlled by something bigger than the individual. And not literally every student in Oxbridge succumbs to this. There are exceptions, but the majority for the last 600 years, this is absolutely true for those people. So, what's the basic facts here? We have lived, and I would argue still do live, in an empire. How can you get people to function and live in an empire which is causing mass genocide across the world? Look at the Indian massacres. Look at the genocide and slavery in South Africa and South America. All these things need a functioning body of people to oversight them. How do you get people to contribute to mass genocide, mass moral outcries, no human rights for their population of citizens? Well, Oxbridge is how you do it. And institutions like Oxbridge. Oxbridge is only the UK arm of this. And in these institutions, they tell their people, don't worry about the bigger picture. Just get on with your job, your daily life, and the rest will sort itself out. This is the fundamental thing that they really teach in Oxbridge. And this is why it's such a dangerous institution, because it normalizes war, it normalizes poverty, it normalizes the hate which is experienced across this world. It normalizes it. It doesn't challenge it, it doesn't deal with it, and it definitely does not ever want to get rid of things like war and poverty. For the simple truth, the people that own Oxbridge are the very people that profit from genocide and profit from slavery and profit from hate. This is the people that own Oxbridge. It isn't owned by the government, even though the UK taxpayer pays loads of money to Oxbridge each year. We never see the benefits of that. Only the rich that own Oxbridge see the profits and glory and the reaffirmment of the world that we see today. Because the world we see today didn't happen by accident. It happened because it was designed in the minds of school children, young adults, and eventually people that go to university. That's where today manifests itself from. And Oxbridge is at the very heart of how today will be seen, how today will be experienced by the minds, hearts, and souls of the people of this world. So Oxbridge, it profits from mass murder. It profits from the ownership of human beings' minds. It profits from how that mind will perceive and act across the world. And that profit is not just a material profit, but it's a profit of power. Because all power, yes, money is a route to power, of course, but the fundamental root of power is the minds, owning the minds of the people that are around you. That is the fundamental. And you just don't turn up one day and go, right, I own you. You need to design this system from the ground upwards. That's how you end up designing people, so that the minds of people have only one option, or two options either, of how to act across this world. Most human beings, you see, want to make a better world. But is the world a better world? No. And how? And Oxbridge profits from that. For example, the main contributor to Oxbridge is the weapons industry. The weapons industry and the oil industry. These, pardon? Pharmaceutical companies, private individuals, and religion. All the religions. I'll get onto the subject of religion and Oxbridge in a moment. So it's these individuals, these institutions, these companies, they invest millions upon millions upon millions, even the ones that are dead. So, for example, Rhodes, the guy that made De Beers, the diamond company. That diamond company, people like Churchill was part of all this, they weren't the only people from Oxbridge who created a mass genocide across Africa, De Beers, particularly South Africa. But those people, Rhodes, who's dead a long time, still contributes vast amounts of money because his wealth is still real and there. And his ideas of how life should work is misery, enslavement. And when an individual comes up and asks for a better world, that individual is crushed. And there are many other crimes, terrible crimes that that individual and individuals like him have committed. And still today, they're the people and type of people that own Oxbridge. Yes, this is what is the world today. And they dictate how and what is the right thing to teach, what is the right action, and what tomorrow and today will look like. This and those people, monsters. There's a new political department just being built in Oxbridge, paid for totally lock, stock and barrel by a Russian oligarch. One person has paid for a political department in Oxbridge. Just one individual. And his idea and his visions of the future is one of misery and more wealth for that individual. That's what we're dealing with here. The people that own Oxbridge are the worst type of people you'll ever come across. They believe in wealth to the few, not the many. Because they think you having money and you having wealth and you being educated in truth, which is a very different education that you get in Oxbridge. Thank you. See you later, gentlemen. That's the thing that destroys individual wealth, as in billionaires when I say individual wealth, not millionaires or our wealth, the majority of people that have in this world, but billionaires. And they have fully invested their money in making sure that they stay wealthy forever. Their wealth is institutionalized. Their wealth is inherited. And that not happens by accident. That happens so that they can stay in power, in control and ownership of the people of this planet. And that means you, ladies and gentlemen. Just give me a moment to put some clothes on because I'm stood in shade and it's getting chilly. So,
how are we going to change anything?
I will get on to that. So, another major owner of Oxbridge is the church. The church is, maybe some people would argue, dude, good to see you again. Yeah, I thought you were in, anyway.
I'm leaving tomorrow.
Wow, you love Hyde Park. The main owner, I would argue, possibly the main owner, is the church. So we have a church which owns the institution, which fundamentally should be about educated truth. The church is not interested in truth. That's not its goal in life. The church's goal in life is faith. That's its goal in life, and ain't nothing wrong with that. But faith doesn't deliver truth, understanding, compassion, and a better world.
Who's in charge of the church?
Money.
No. Who's in charge of the church?
And so,
who's the
a
head
world.
of the church?
So what
Who is the
Oxbridge
head of the church?
is what I've described.
Who is the head of the
It's
church?
ownership by a few individuals.
You don't say it. You're not. You won't
Money.
say it. Who's in charge of the Church of England?
Church
Who's in charge of the
religions.
Church of England?
and religion.
Tell us.
They own the
Who's
religions.
in charge of the Church of England?
They own religions of this world. Why do the rich own your religions? What purpose is that?
There you go.
The purpose in that is therefore your faith in this world is owned by them. This is what I was talking about earlier, of how you own an individual. You own an individual by owning their faith. So you could be Muslim, Christian, or Jewish.
That made him.
And your faith, I argue, is fundamentally owned by institutions like Oxbridge. And institutions like Oxbridge, as I said, profit from genocide, profit from slavery and ownership of your means of resource and work that you put into life each and every day. So these make these religions far right, but not the individuals per se. So, how would you change? How would you change a world, an institution, an education system, the world the Oxbridge owns? How would you change and turn that away from genocide and poverty of the masses for the riches of the few? And also, how would you change being owned by them? Very simple is the answer to that. You create a university that is built for everybody, that is paid for by everybody, rather than being paid for. Sorry? Sorry, I can't hear you.
When you say it's paid for by everybody, you mean I'm also paid for it, yes?
Yeah.
How are you getting my money?
How do you think?
I hold a gun to my head and say, as a payout,
A gun?
yes, a gun.
You think that contributing towards a society is someone putting your gun in your head?
Ultimately,
I think I believe you're Jewish, am I correct?
yes.
I believe somebody should choose their words a little bit more carefully when saying guns to the head. Because unbelievably, World War II, real Jewish people, 6 million people had guns put to their head and they were killed like that. So I think maybe you should be choosing your words a little bit better on subjects which are actually contributing to a better world to stop genocide.
What you're saying is,
So please refrain from language which insults the Jewish community, okay?
How is law
Insults
enforced?
them.
How is law enforced?
Thank you, that's a better question. Thank you very much.
let's go
So
all
the
the
way
way
we
down. Go all
do
the way
this
down.
is the way history, throughout history, all societies have done this. We work, we live, we contribute to society because we all live in a society. Every wonderful faith, from Muslim, Christian to Jewish, we all live in a society and we all need to contribute to society because unbelievably things don't happen by magic, do they? They actually happen because communities come together to stop horrible things happening, and also communities come together to make beautiful things. Can you name a beautiful thing? A beautiful thing where human beings are involved and contribute. Or don't you even know what that means? I'm not surprised you can't even answer that basic question. Let me describe what a beautiful thing is for a society. No matter your religion, faith or ideas, as long as you're not violent, you are entitled to free health. This is a beautiful idea. This is what we'd be working towards. Don't be facetious. Don't be facetious. You came here in front of me and said, oh, to ask for a better society is like putting a gun to my head. No, let me tell you what, that was disrespectful to the Jewish community, to every community that has ever experienced war and genocide. You came here as an arrogant man. You came here as a facetious man. You came here as a man totally incapable of actually contributing to a world that wants to be simply a better world. That's why you came in front of me. This is what I mean. We need to take control of our education system because we don't own our own education system. We do not own today. Today is owned in the minds of children that are growing up and learning what they think of the different communities. Because if you get different communities despising a better world, despising people of different faiths, then you'll guarantee a world of genocide, murder and poverty. It's guaranteed. It ain't, pardon?
What's the point?
My point is, every word I say is a point, and every word I say is contributing towards a world which is shaped for the future of all communities, rather than a community, just one community, one ideology, which owns everything. That way has always given us the world that we have today. And that world today is poverty, environmental destruction, pollution, war, hate, genocide. The topic is Oxbridge. Oxbridge is an institution which is replicated across the world. And they educate into the minds of our next generation, our next leaders, that genocide is fine for the right cause. That's what they educate. They educate that poverty is fine for the right cause. All these things, war, misery, poverty, are all designed. So we don't end poverty by throwing money at it. We don't end war by throwing money at it. We end these horrible, disgusting things by ending the institutions, the schools and universities that profit from these horrific acts. And in its place, we have a university owned by the people of this world, contributing towards by the people of the world. And we say what projects get developed. Because right now, for example, the physicists in Oxbridge, they are almost entirely funded by the weapons industry. That's our greatest minds, ladies and gentlemen, not being used to contribute to a wonderful society of communities with better technology, living standards, not just for the rich, but for all people if they wish to have that life. If you wish that, then it's there for you. Right now, the majority of the people that live on this planet don't have access to free health, free education, another environment which is healthy and clean for all families to grow up in. Most people have never had that and never will have that. We don't have that here in the UK even. But in the UK, it's a little bit different from the rest of the world, of course. So, Oxbridge, first step, we end Oxbridge. Yeah, all right, I'll stand.
Me and my friend here were just talking about economics, and we think that the fundamental place of nature is like poverty, and we work away from poverty using our civilization to create wealth.
Yeah, but you've got to design today in the past, because the past is designed. I mean, today is designed in the past. And what do I mean by that? That semi-abstract concept. Semi. To your mind, totally abstract. To my mind, just absolute normality. Because we are all educated, have been educated in the past, which is now today for all of us. We take ownership of the schools, end institutions that take money from people that want to murder and pollute. Stop that. Institutions should be owned by the people of this world, and then we dictate, own what ideas and concepts will be educated. And that will be what the majority of people on this planet want, which is a better, cleaner, healthier world where each human being has human rights if they wish for that. You can only have that if you own your institutions. Question.
Isn't that the ideal for most institutions that start and then they get set
No.
on?
Our institutions, because they're owned by people that go to Oxbridge, they own our institutions, like Parliament, like journalism. UK journalism is a joke, ladies and gentlemen. It is an absolute joke. It is now 47th in the world of how good, how a ranking system, how good journalism, 47th. And those journalists still have the gall and arrogance to go in front on our cameras, write in our papers, go on our internet and media and tell us how the world should be, when they're 47th in the world for journalistic quality. There ain't no quality. But people like that are designed in Oxbridge, and they're designed to be happy with 47th in the world. They're designed to know that this is just the way it should always be. I reckon all countries should have equally great journalism.
Who's number one? Who's number one?
You can look it up yourself on Google. I'm not Google. Google is Google. You have a phone. Check that out. Good question. Check it out on your phone. So, if we would, my proposal is, we, the people of the world, own the education system. That means we could own the people of the world would own the ideas and concepts of how journalists will act. Because our journalists are not owned by us, they're owned by billionaires. They're educated in the billionaires' school, and they're then owned by the very billionaires that pay for them and educated them. And what do billionaires want? They want to get richer. They want more poverty, more war, which is why our papers don't really ever stand up against wars in this world. If you're ever confused and ask yourself, why isn't our Parliament stopping wars? Why aren't our media standing up against wars? Why isn't our media standing up against environmental destruction? This is why the billionaires profit from those things, and the billionaires...
Can I ask a related question?
Please.
When you say we need to own them...
We, the people...
What exactly, can you define what you mean by how would we own them?
Very similar to the National Health Service that we used to own, which we don't own anymore. We own the National Health Service. And then we, from the National Health Service, can make unbiased decisions of how health and how medicine should be developed and contributing to a society. That's a great model, and that's how universities would work. Exactly like the National Health Service. And the National Health Service is an incredible institution which gives an incredible service to this people of this world, no matter your colour, ideas, sexual orientation, or religious beliefs. You can walk in there and entitled to be health that is required. But more important, the National Health Service can actually heal and get rid of diseases. Private institutions, like the pharmaceutical companies, they're not interested in getting rid of diseases, not interested in ending the horror. That's how you don't make money by solving, eradicating diseases. You make money by having diseases and poverty.
Going back to the answer you just given me, you say that we own the National Health Service now?
We used to, yeah.
We used to?
Yeah.
I'm a bit unclear. When you say we used to own it, what do you mean?
Well, what happened was we had a right-wing government called New Labour who introduced privatisation. So instead of your whatever institution that you're running, instead of its goal being, let's say, we're talking about health being the highest priority, all of a sudden, money now is the highest priority. And once money becomes your highest priority, you end truth. Truth ends at that moment.
Didn't Thatcher stop over there?
Pardon?
Didn't Thatcher stop over there?
It's not of National Health Service, of course, but yes, she introduced privatisation in different areas, which like buses, transport, energy, which was horrible and a crime. But how do these crimes happen? They happen because children and our best minds were educated to dismiss human life as the ultimate priority. That's what Oxbridge does. It dismisses human beings as the highest priority. And it's wealth and religion which become the highest priority.
I don't want to divert you, but
Please divert all away.
I feel like you still haven't answered the question. I'm asking you, how did we own, what's exactly, do you mean by paying tax? Do you mean tax? Our tax? Is that what you're saying? So if we pay them tax, then we own them. Are you advocating that we should pay tax to...
You own the National Health Service. Let's say they had National Health, just argue the National Health Service wasn't privatised or part privatised.
Okay.
You own that, didn't you?
By paying tax?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's what we're saying.
And if you walked in because you were ill of something, what would happen? No questions asked. You get healed. The mind is something that needs to be educated. The mind is a beautiful, wonderful, tremendous, possibly one of the most unique things in the whole universe, possibly. And if we don't give that the best education, based not on money, which Oxbridge does, but based on truth, therefore truth will be educated in our minds to shine the loudest, shine the brightest, and that will shine across the universe, that brightness of truth. But
we all know there is a lot of wrong things.
Sorry?
You are explaining a lot of wrongs which are in our society, in our days.
yeah,
Yes, but what we really need to understand what is wrong, because everybody experiencing in our everyday life a lot of wrong things in the society. But what is actually needed, some ideas, how we can go out of where we are to do something what will be what we want to
it's
be.
ideas which dictate today. We've all had today is based on ideas. That's why Oxbridge owning our best minds is terrible, because their ideas, which they pollute our greatest minds with, are ideas that just turn a blind eye to the physics department being almost solely owned by the weapons industry and the oil industry. Turn a blind eye to these things. That's an idea. And do you know what that idea gives us? A polluted world. A world where nuclear weapons are the things that governments invest in the most. Yes, weapon industry is one of the most dominant investments of governments. These concepts of that being normalised are educated in universities like Harvard, but obviously my talk is about Oxbridge. But Harvard and Oxbridge and the schools in Europe, they're all owned by the same people, and those same people want profits from weapons, because the weapons industry is the greatest profit in the world. It's almost literally free money in some cases. The Pentagon in America over the last 10 years lost, what was it, 160 billion pounds? I have no ideas where it went. No traceable understanding of where it is. And that's a government-owned institution. And do you know how much the Iraq War and Afghanistan war cost since its first start? 1.5 trillion. And it wasn't the taxpayer who profited from that. Do you know who profited from that? The billionaires of the world. And these are the billionaires that own Oxbridge. And do you think they're going to educate the future minds to want a world where war's going to end? No, they're going to educate the future mind where war is always happening, an absolute reality forever, which should never be questioned. That's the world that Oxbridge says. A university owned by the people would end that instantly, which means would end war instantly, because you need wealth. Unbelievable, dude. This one, nice one. Because war and genocide don't come for free. It takes massive investment from the rich people of this world, the billionaires. They need to invest in it to commit mass genocide. Question?
Yes.
I'm
You
going
are
to come
talking
down.
about the disease of this country. Yes.
It's not a
What
disease,
is
it's an
wrong?
idea. Let's take it to
Alright,
ideas.
yes. Okay, by
That's a
idea,
better word.
wrong idea is poison.
Sorry? Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
We are talking about that.
Yes.
But what
And
we
ideas
really
are
need,
educated
I
in
want to-
Oxbridge
I want-
and the private
okay,
school
yes,
education.
Can I just have a word? Yes, because you are telling us about all these wrongs which everybody of us knows who lives in this country and has open eyes and a little bit of intelligence, but nobody giving us any solution. How?
My whole talk about
if
is a
there's
solution.
Something is no, but about
My whole talk
something
is
to
a
say
solution.
About wrong, if we cannot see what could be good, yes. So what would be good out of this wrong? Because otherwise, talking only about wrong.
Well, we have a National Health Service, don't we?
Yeah.
And would you say that's good?
Sorry.
Would you say that, what are you doing? Dear, you should have done the limbo. You would have been more educated. That would have been more entertaining, seeing your limbo.
What is the talk
Good to
about?
see you. Sorry?
What was the talk about?
Oxbridge, and how Oxbridge controls our minds. And those minds are educated to just turn a blind eye to genocide, poverty. And the solutions that Oxbridge offer are the solutions which never resolve these horrible and disgusting acts which only the rich inflict
What
upon
acts?
the world.
What acts?
Acts, genocide is an act. Poverty is an act. All these things are designed in minds. Genocide is a horrific thing, but people profit from it. Like in World War II, when the horrific Catholic Church rounded up all the socialists and the Jewish people, put them in a concentration camp and murdered them all, just like that.
Was it good?
Pardon?
Get it. So what?
People profited from that. There was profit made. And what's horrific, the Catholic Church profited from that. And also the Muslim Church, the people that own these churches, profit, not the individuals or people of great faith, not them, they're the people who got murdered, but the people that own these institutions, like Muslim and Christian and Catholic, the people that own them, and the Jewish Church, the people that own those profited from these horrific acts. And that was all educated in minds, been educated in the Oxbridge system and these religious schools which own our people. Sorry, what were you saying?
But nevertheless, it's not a network like the church. That is, there's no central
it does not work.
flow of money.
It doesn't work like a church, though.
Yeah, that's the material, how he thinks about it, because history has proven that the rich own these beautiful faiths. And those beautiful faiths...
I don't think faith is connected to religion.
You don't think faith is connected to religion?
Not to religion, to money.
I can't even begin to answer that one.
No. Okay, I was like,
Thank
all
you.
messed up.
What's going
I
on
don't
here?
think faith is connected to money and like.
You don't think that? So do you know
Like,
how
no,
much
I
the
don't think
Church
it's
of
like- I
England?
don't think it's
Do you know how much
affected by
land it owns? Oh, where are you from? Sorry.
Israel. Oh.
So beautiful country.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So religious institutions,
Okay.
they own the land. They own institutions.
Okay.
That's what wealth isn't just about. Literally, just about money.
Yeah.
It's
also
about,
ground.
as my talk is about, it's about owning minds and how those minds will perceive what is a right action to do. And so, yes.
And I don't see it as a bad thing, though.
Yeah, you don't see it as a bad thing. But do you think Israel's living in peace at the moment? Or do you think it's tormented?
In between Jews or in between like
Or do you
everybody?
think it's under a horrific situation right now in Israel?
It's horrible situation.
So, yes, it's a horrible situation.
Okay.
So maybe it isn't so great as you think. Because that doesn't happen by accident. The leaders of your faith want perpetual war. That's what they want.
want war. I don't think anyone wants war.
You don't think anyone wants war?
Wants, like,
Tell that to the people that own the guns that shoot Israeli people.
No, she means
Yes,
nobody wants
like-
war because
They
of
profit
war.
from that.
No, but
So they want war because they can send their children and buy all the drugs that they
means-
require.
she means-
She knows what she means. She can answer you. You can
No,
describe
come on.
yourself. And if you have an individual point or want to discuss,
I mean-
then please discuss with each other first. But don't tell this
I think
lady
everybody-
What's the
that's
motion?
being very, very
What's the motion?
elegant
I just
and
enjoyed.
worded with me.
Sean.
Don't tell her what she needs to think. Thank you. No, I'll do what I need to do. And, all right, thank you.
Al doctor me queso.
Do you have you discussed what you need to discuss?
No, he just wanted to know what's about.
What's the motion?
He's long gone. Like,
Yeah,
he's
my motion is that horrors of war and the horrors you see in Israel, which should never be like that, of course,
yeah.
are all educated in our universities. Children are educated to hate,
Oh
murder.
yeah, okay. That is right.
That is,
I think that is right. That they're
Yes.
educated for that. But
they're
I don't
educated
think
for
everybody.
that.
Like,
Because I
somebody-
believe in Israel, correct me if I'm wrong, that you have to be in the army.
You gotta be in the army. Yeah.
You've got to be.
But we don't
That's-
have any other choice.
I
We
know.
don't
I'm not
have.
saying
We're
you
gonna
don't have
get
any other
killed.
choice.
And
I'm
everybody
aware.
that goes to the army is a hero to me. I want to go to the army. You know what? I want to serve.
yeah,
I
of
want to be a
course.
soldier. I want to be in the battle. I want to have a
Yes,
gun. And,
of
like,
course. But what would you prefer to have, right? A gun in your hand
or peace and like.
or peace and love
Of course
against
peace.
other Muslims, against other human beings?
I don't think about it as
Which
just a Muslim.
is
I
more
think-
important to you?
I think as human beings, not. With
You see,
religion,
you
it's-
said
yeah.
people don't want. You said a moment ago,
I don't
people
think
don't want a
wake-
war.
I don't think people
But
wake
you've
up,
all,
"Oh my
you've
God,
almost
I want
literally
war."
said, yes, you want war, and you glorify the peoples of war. You've almost literally contributed to the idea that in actual fact, there are individuals who do want war and murder. But you never designed the system. You do not own your religion. The people that own your religion are the filthy rich. And the filthy rich, they want constant power and religious dominance over this world.
I think there's
religious,
very, like-
religious dominance over religions of the world.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's
I
a
think
better
there's
sentence.
people that like even in any religion is somebody that is really like to the other to the
Yeah.
both sides. Like I
Yes.
think in the middle is good. But
Having
like,
different ideas, there ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But my proposal is the people of the far right own your religion, own the Christian religion, own the Muslim
The far
religion.
right?
The far right. And what do the people of the far right want? What they've always want. Purity.
yeah.
Power to themselves. Do you take a picture of my bum?
No, a little bit further up.
I don't know. That's just
Taking a
the
picture of my bum.
elections in Israel.
I should charge for those shots. Anyway, so it's a far right, not the people that owns your faith, because the people want what you just said you wanted a moment ago: peace and love, respect,
Of course I want
education.
peace and love, respect, and education.
Of course you.
But it's not the reality. And it's not.
Yes,
I
it's
don't
not the
think- I don't
reality
think it
presented
can
to
be a
you,
reality.
and that's because it wasn't taught in your school.
It was actually.
Yes, of course, because they're not going to come out as far right in your school.
No,
So-
I have actually a left-handed school.
At what school?
A left-wing school. Oh,
Left-handed, left wing, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not. It's not my language.
No, in our language.
Yeah, no, I'm on board. Left-handed. It's a lovely phrase, by the way.
Oh my god, I'm really bad at
But
that.
the
like the
but
left-wing. I don't
was
know.
it a private school? I mean, how is the school system in Israel? How is it built? Is it private? Is it private schools?
No, there goes different to any school.
Sorry.
It's like different in any school. Like every
Yeah.
school's really different.
We're going to different schools.
So for rich, can you
Like,
send
he
your
goes to a
children?
different school than I do.
If you're rich, can you send your children to a school to pay? You pay for it, so
Yes.
Yeah.
So that doesn't
You know what?
exist.
People in my school, there are people that cannot afford the school. There are people who can afford to buy the actual school. It's not really. I don't think that's actually meet there.
Yeah.
The money issue doesn't meet in my school. And I go to school in the kibbutz.
Well, that's
so
interesting.
Really, like, peace and love.
Your school isn't owned by money.
It's not.
You've said it is a left hand. I love the phrase.
It is.
A left hand school. I love the
But
phrase.
it's like peace and love. It doesn't.
Is the reason there's a camera on you and a beautiful woman standing in front of you and a little bit of an audience the reason you're not shouting and swearing as usual?
No, because I've had people in front of me. They're actually asking and contributing towards a wonderful debate. Actually, if you go online, my name's Dust. If you go online, you'll find there are some trolls that regularly come here, and those trolls. Oh, you're one of the trolls, actually. My good friend. You're yeah. So you do have trolls, and unfortunately, they destroy debate, attack debate.
Do you know who I
No,
work
but it's
for?
not, I'm not up for it.
You know who
Is
I
it the
work
bus
for?
company?
I'm trying to actually have
I work for Mr. Rothschild.
I really do
You be
care
careful
about
what
that
you're
kind of
saying.
things that-
So, how do we educate a world where poverty is ended, war is ended,
Well, I think
hate
deported.
and diversity?
I don't think it's in education.
We do
Well,
educate-
they
they
do
do
We educate in
They
education,
do educate it like that.
owning our universities, and dictating those universities are now allowed to dominate with truth, understanding, compassion,
They do
and a
educate
better
us like
world.
that, though. They do.
Sorry?
They do educate us.
Do you know, right, I don't know your university system, yeah? I only know Oxbridge because I live in this country. But Oxbridge is dominantly paid for by the weapons industry in this country. Do you know who pays for your top uni? Do you know the name of your top university, in fact?
Oxbridge, there's no university called Oxbridge.
Sorry?
The Technion.
Was that Neon?
Yeah.
Right, I can't pronounce that because I'm useless at language, so I apologise for that.
But you know those two
But
universities?
do you know who pays for it and owns it?
My
No, to your top university.
Yes, I know who.
So it's very important. So who is it? Who pays for it? The government, or
the
No,
government.
no, it's not the government.
is it companies?
Private place.
Well, there you go.
Oh, it is.
Look who those private individuals
I
are.
know who
Do
pays
they
for
happen to be the oil industry?
I know who
Do
pays
they
for
happen to
your,
be the weapons industry?
No.
Look into that. I will look into that. I don't
who
know.
pays for your
I don't know. of
I know
course.
who pays for for Israel.
So this
It's
talk
very-
is about
very,
Oxbridge
very old
and how
family.
if we end
The
Oxbridge
Rothschilds.
and replace it with an education system that we
Multi-billion
own, we'll end
They own
poverty
half of
and
Israel,
genocide across
half
this
of
world.
the university.
Because it's institutions like Oxbridge which propagate the horrors of this world.
And what a waste of
Because
money having
Oxbridge
people like you.
isn't owned by the people of the UK. It is literally owned by the weapons company and by the oil companies
Can you name
who
one?
profit
Name
from virtually all
Name
the
one
pollution in the
company.
CO2 in the air.
Name one company.
So this is the proposal here today.
Name one company.
This is what any objections, what would
So
you?
what? You're not.
It's like the reason for war is that there's so many individuals in the world. They want to all agree for one thing, and they'll always be in several sides, and that's like the way to solve this right now. So it's not in education.
Yeah, only education can solve it. Picking up a gun doesn't solve a war.
I don't know.
right.
In Israel,
That's right.
which is a
But it's not
beautiful
education.
country
Okay.
and deserves its independence from this independent state
Okay.
to conduct its actions accordingly. But what it doesn't deserve, or any country deserve to do, is commit a genocide on another group of people. No country should be that, and and that should be illegal under a world government. A world government.
what?
Pardon?
To do what?
Which bit? To do what? What?
To like what?
Well, it's just you what did you
No.
No, what did you just say a minute ago? To that any country.
Any country that says genocide is a solution
Okay.
to the problems they're having today
Okay.
because it's only a few people that think that. Certain leaders of certain organisations, only they think that. Those people should be arrested and charged for thinking that and trying to enact, or in actual fact, acting out a genocide. Because it should be illegal. You think it would be? You know that we do have human rights, but it is weirdly not written by non-religious, and it's just written dominantly by religious institutions. It's the human rights, and those are written in accordingly because the religious groups do commit so many crimes. So they make sure they own the legal system and control the legal system to make sure that they're opted out as much as possible.
What you say is not really possible. Have you seen Israel lately, heard the news about it? Have you seen people bomb schools?
Yeah.
My friends, I went for a walk with them for 20-something kilometers to make the government listen, but it's not like, that's the education my school give us,
Yeah.
but it's not really...
Look, you
we're
think
not
if
really
there's going to be a
able to
law
change
against...
Let the lady
like
speak
that.
first.
It's
Is this your
harder than-
sister?
It's hard, yeah.
Probably.
Let your own sister. Probably. You don't know.
We all have, no, it is.
Let's not dispute your parents' claims.
Okay, so like, we can't really change. Is the education. I don't think the problem is in the education of the kids, because the education of the kids is going against what the government says and
Yes.
protesting and all of that.
Yes.
So the thing is not
This is
changing
true.
the education of the kids. It's making the grown-ups and the leaders
But all
see the other
grown-ups were children, yeah?
but they didn't get the same education that I get now. It's so different.
And the thing is, it's not the majority, as you've contributed to wonderfully, want a world where peace, love, understanding, education is the dominant form.
Yeah.
But it's the people that, as I propose, it's the people that own our institutions. They never want that. And they are the minority. So you, the majority, let's say you're the majority, which I
Okay.
think we wouldn't disagree with.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what the majority want. It's who owns our institutions, our universities, our parliament, our papers and media. Because I'm sure in Israel, as in
I don't know
here,
if you know.
the media are owned by billionaires.
But a week ago, the election in Israel was.
It
Sorry?
was just now the election
Just
last
now
week.
the election in Israel.
Yeah,
It
just
was
now.
exactly about this, the entire election, about do we want to start a peaceful country where we respect everybody around us?
Yeah.
Or do we want to keep a war?
Yeah.
And the war won. Like, the majority is this.
Yeah, of course it
No,
won.
no.
Of course it won. Because the
reason is-
media
no, it's not
are the
because
people
of
that
the
dictate the agenda. And if that agenda is war, the media and the
because-
schools will always make sure that
Because
war
it's very
will dominantly
naive to
happen.
think, because it's very naive to think that we're just going to say, let's have peace with everybody will just have peace with us. But if we'll stop our defense, if we'll stop having a protect on the border, we'll just keep attacking us
Yeah.
and stronger.
And
So,
why would
it's
one
not
group of
Israel
people
education.
try and kill
Dropping-
another
dropping
group of
the guns
people?
is not gonna solve it.
Why does, throughout
comes from
history,
country
does one
without
group of
education.
people try and kill another group of people?
Because
Why? Is it because they're bored?
No.
Did they wake up one morning
It's
over their
power,
bacon, fried bacon and think, you know what, darling, I wouldn't mind committing a genocide?
I think it started
Did
by
they
power.
say that?
No, it started by power, and then it
No, it started.
No, it's religion.
Yeah, it
but
started by
want-
power, exactly.
Wanting power, but then.
But it
became-
starts
it
by the
became for
media,
saving, like,
by our schools.
In Israel, it's mostly
If
because
everybody's
of
gonna
religion.
drop the gun now in Israel, we're all gonna get killed.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe some people want power, but I think now most
You're
of
living in a world designed in the past.
living in the country designed.
You're living in a world designed in that past.
Yeah,
If we don't change that,
I don't think, but the change comes.
if we don't change that, then we will live in a world where the only thing that you can actually glorify is war and murder.
Yeah.
You said that. That's what you said that yourself.
That everybody that keeps us safe in Israel are heroes.
Hey, heroes, war heroes. So, what do people do? If your idea of a hero is someone that picks up a gun and
What do you
shoots
suggest?
people,
For
what do we do?
for protecting
We pick
the
up more
country and
guns
everything.
and shoot more people.
What do you suggest?
Then we have more heroes.
Right now, there's an education for peace and for love for everyone. But what do you suggest?
My whole talk has been about we, the people of the world, own our education system,
Yeah,
and
we
we
do.
dictate what will be educated in our minds. And in those minds, genocide will not be accepted as a normal reality,
So
but
the
something
solution-
that we must
The
all
solution
fight
doesn't come
against.
from education. The solution comes from the big companies, not from education. Education is just a path.
Well, we disagree, obviously.
You should, like, if we want
We obviously disagree with that, because that's my whole talk, is based on the idea and concept that children grow into adults.
Yeah.
All adults come from children, and all children were educated. Well, sorry, the majority. No, we'll say all children were educated, unofficial and official education. And if we don't take ownership of that, we, the people of the world, all we'll educate the next generation to do is to worship people that murder. And that, my friends, will give you the world which we have today, which is murder and genocide and poverty.
There's people 19, 20, 18, even from my school that I grew up with, I know them, and they were killed in a war, and you do glorify them as being an amazing person and like a hero. So it's not like we're saying the murderer is a hero. It's not like that.
That's exactly what you are saying. But the media won't portray that, because the media needs to prepare to keep making sure we have perpetual war.
Do you think that anybody has ever sacrificed their life for somebody else?
I'm not going to ask such a ridiculous question.
Well, does he believe that anybody has ever sacrificed their life for somebody else?
I'm coming from
You
school,
believe that? You call what
private
heroes.
school.
He believes them.
Oh, you're private? But your sister ain't?
What?
Your sister's not private.
We're not in the same school.
Pardon?
We're not in the same school.
Yeah.
My school has
How come your parents paid for you to go to school,
No.
educate, but didn't pay
It's the
for your
cheapest school.
sister?
It's a school with
What does that say about your family?
school with 3 classes.
Well, we got one child we don't like very much.
And
Let's send her to the cheap school, or we'd have to pay. But the boy, are you the older out of the two of you?
no, she's older.
But the younger, who happens to be a boy, we're going to make sure he gets the best educated.
It's a different school.
That's bloody remarkable. That's what private system does. It splits up families. It splits up communities. It stands to divide when education should be fundamentally about uniting. That's what education should be. Great example right here.
What are the steps towards what you think should be? How are you free?
Well, in our minds, the steps, you are a step forward. Because it'd be people like you that would end up owning the education system. So it's you asking for a world where actually it's not the rich billionaires who own the weapons industry. Instead of them and own our education, it's not them anymore that own it, but it's me, we, the people of every faith, of every idea.
That will never happen.
It's your mind. Your mind has to first acknowledge the fact that our education system isn't owned by us. Once you acknowledge that, then the next step in your mind is starting to tell your friends and families, because it's human minds and human beings which shape the world, not magic doesn't shape the world. It's your mind that shapes this world. And if you're not interested in shaping this world, no, sorry, I retake that, I don't mean that. If you don't know who owns the world, how can you shape the world?
Well, I know who owns the world.
At the time here, I don't think
The
it's possible.
Rothschilds.
Sorry?
I don't think it's possible
Goldman
at the
Sachs.
time, but
Yeah,
now.
you're educated to believe
JP
that anybody that presents a really good idea in this world, then they're just mental. They are deluded, and that can never happen. The media and our schools teach dominantly that people that stand up for a better world are the enemy, should be vilified.
That's wrong.
Yes.
But that's the end result. Where do you think, mate, of course it's more complicated. We don't have infinite amount of time to explain all the nuance. But look at the people that do stand up in our societies and say they want a better world, where war isn't added on, with genocide is. What happens to the people in Israel that want peace? What happens to the Jewish people in Israel that want peace? Do you know what happens here in this country? They're told they're not proper Jews. Really? You're telling me that don't happen in Israel? I think you'll find that happens in Israel.
My parents are all dead.
I think you do find.
Just me.
Maybe they'll say it's a good thought and it's
Well,
a good
do
way
this.
to go, but
Do
it's
me a
not
favour
possible.
then. You said you wanted peace and community,
Yes,
well,
I want, when
community
I
for all.
have kids, I want them not to go to
Then
school.
say write about that. Put it online. That's how you feel.
I just did. I
And
did it.
and then tell me about the comments.
It was all good.
Tell me about the comments and how the reactions. We'll talk about that. If you don't mind, I'll grab your email because I'm very interested in the future of you.
The majority of Israel is for peace and for love.
Yeah, the majority of the people in the world are for peace and love, but you may not notice the majority of the world is somehow at war with each other, somehow living in a world of pollution. That's because we don't own our education system. We don't own our media. We don't own our legal system and our parliament.
Different interests.
Good idea to do it.
If you're gonna go even to people
Worship
that
about
are
these
religion,
two banks,
religion,
the
they have
Rothschilds
interest in
and
peace.
Goldman
That's
Sachs.
not all the interests.
Very
Sorry, you
small.
think religion's for peace?
How they
The
get
religious
their money.
leaders, sorry, not religious people.
The reason right now in Israel there's a war is all about religion and
She's
about
smarter than you are. She went to a school.
Get the
She didn't go to a private school.
Who? He went to.
Yeah, your parents went.
He's a private school, and I'm a.
Yeah, your parents went. Well, we prefer this child.
No, he's doing, like no. I'll tell
We
you what.
prefer this child.
No, I'll tell you what he's doing.
She's female. Let's not give her the best education.
It's not like that. He's doing a degree
all
now
the
in math, and
world
he's
banks wouldn't be corrupt.
He got the brain.
Well,
He got the brain.
I think
She's
that
really
no matter what, every child should go to the best education.
I know. I did.
And you sound smarter.
the best
by the way.
education.
I get
she
the-
gets art education.
No, I do. Like no. I go to one of the best schools in Israel. So
All right.
it's like it's just a different type of school. He's like on math and that. I take diplomacy.
But the majority of schools that you pay for are deemed to be of the best education.
I think every
That is
school
the standard across the world. And that should never happen. All children should go to all the schools which are the best in the world.
No, best for the world for them. Not all the kids has the best school for them.
Yeah,
If
if
you
I
go
go
to
to
a
his
school,
school-
Whatever you wish to be educated in
Yeah.
should be there for you.
I
No
don't know,
matter your
I
age,
don't know how it works here.
no matter your level, if you contribute, if you put your heart into it, then you should be given the
This is what
rewards
happens in Israel.
of the best.
This is exactly how it's happening in Israel. There are many private schools that are just for this specific thing.
Well, we'll
People
kind of
do not-
agree to
I
disagree
don't
on
think
that,
it
but that's
works.
fine.
I don't know how it works in England, but in Israel it's like through like if I live here, I go to this school. If I live here, I go to this school. It goes like that. You can't go to school that you not live nearby or in the district of the school.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's how it works. So I don't really have
We-
the best education in the school.
But as soon as money becomes part of a dominant factor
Money
within
is a part of
education,
Money
that
is such a bad thing.
corrupts that education system, and that means that community is corrupted, and that means that country is corrupted. That's what money
and the
does.
economy system is not a bad thing.
What?
Money is a good thing. Money helps.
Money's a good
order.
thing.
Money keeps
How's
order.
Israel today, mate? Is it a land of peace
Really
and
good
love?
money. Really good
Is
money.
it the land of peace and love, which it deserves to be, which the community deserves to have? Or would you say, like other parts of the world, it's war-torn, and hate and ideologies of hate are the dominant factors in those institutions?
I'm not saying, but
Because I think you'll find that's what money does. The more money you have,
what will happen without
the
money?
more you want. And the more you want, the more desperate human being you will become.
So what, you want to go 2,000
That's
years
how
to
it
the back?
works.
You want to go 2,000
You
years to the back?
should go to the best school in the world.
I go to the best. I'll go to Harvard. And
That's what you deserve.
that's what
Shit, the
I
president's
dispute your interpretation, but it's been a very good conversation so far. I look forward to more comments.
It's very good thing to go to the best school in the world if it's owned by the military power.
Sorry,
It's a good thing to go to the best school in the world.
well, if you think today is good, then yes, you're right. But if you happen to think today is terrible for the majority of the people on the planet, then I think I've answered that question accordingly. Because if you think war is good, then you've got that. That's who owns our schools, is the war industry. That's where all the money is, because that's where who owns our system, are the rich. And they want to be rich forever. So they get to own religions and people of beautiful faiths. They own them. Muslim, Christian and Jewish. It ain't owned by the people of those institutions. It's owned by the far right. And the far right profit from your faith. And the far right want one thing: total dominance and control of the people of the world. And that, unfortunately, will always end up in genocide. People, communities, you should own. Excuse me. That was awful. I was, yeah, no, I won't say that story. Yes. These are the people. You look to yourselves, and if yourself says, "Oh, I want a world without any world pollution," I want a world where murder, genocide aren't glorified. Then that's what you should have. That's the way the majority think. And yet, we don't have that world. That's because we don't own our institutions. So therefore, my original proposal is to make a better world, we aimed at Oxbridge and the institutions exactly like Oxbridge. And in this place, we build an education system for everyone, no matter who you are. As long as you're passionate, intelligent and gifted, then you have the rights, human right, to have the best education. We don't have that. A lot of people in Oxbridge get there because they're rich. A lot of people in the Harvard American system, they get there because they're rich. Just now, we have people in America, a fraud, a mass fraud of the education system in America has just been happened over the education system there. Where if you have a lot of money, you can get your, let's say, not so bright child into college and therefore into the best universities. They pay and bribe their children into that. That means someone's intelligent and dedicated and passionate and believes truth, maybe, is their ultimate goal, has been denied a place and never will get that education, never will have that opportunity. They've denied a human being the right to their life, which that right was based on their contribution and intelligence, not on how many hundreds of thousands their parents bribe people with. That's the education we have right now, and that will ultimately give you the world that we have now. That's how it works. It is all connected. And if we don't break that relationship, then we can never break genocide, poverty, and the horrors of this world. If we don't do that, now, what is the solution? How do we have that change? You have to accept some truths about how the education system is, how you'd like it to be, and then you need to tell people. You need to tell your religious leaders. You need to tell your leaders your vision, your community's vision, because most of your community would agree with you that the weapon industry should not be involved in any of our institutions. They should be never involved in our institutions. And right now, they are. And the oil industry, and tobacco industry, and nicotine industry. They even own our art galleries. Not only are they not happy with owning our education and parliament, they actually own our art galleries. They dictate what the art's going to be. Because they do that, by the way, because art is the thing that can change our world. Poetry, paintings, and other wonderful art areas. They end up owning that. So it's down to you. When I say you, I mean everyone. When I say you, we're all working together. I'm afraid if you don't ask and understand and want a better world and know how to have a better world, we can never have that better world. Have you enjoyed my talk?
Yeah, interesting. We have the beginning of a roadmap, at least.
Beginning, because no individual knows the future or can change the future. It takes communities, and communities are built of different religions, ideas, concepts. But most human beings on this planet want peace, respect of their neighbours, no matter their religion. It's up to you, the people. I do my bit, we do our bit. But by the way, every time anyone stands up and asks for a better world, they will be shot down. But that's what is the world we want. But we're going to get shot anyway, or nuked. So that's going to happen already. There ain't no escape from it, no matter how rich you are. There is no escape. And asking for peace, and never resorting to violence, never, under any circumstances, is the most noble people on this planet. And always, they're the people that should be our heroes. They're the heroes. They're the sculptures and paintings. They're the people they should be of. Because that contributes to the world. Thank you very much for your time. My name is Dust. Have a lovely afternoon in this glorious sunshine. Thank you very much. Anybody with any contributions, apart from you? Never you. I'm joking. I love him.
It's a fine balance. I see, like, even
What
with
Oh,
would
the
you want
films
to
now,
say?
For sacking people, because the minimum wage.
You live in a dream world half the time.
Yeah, we all live in a dream world, mate.
What do you mean on that?
I live in reality.
Yeah, and this is, if I remember rightly, you're a homophobic, aren't you?
Yes, I am a homophobic.
Yeah, that's your dream.
I
It's
don't
hating
like
people.
homosexuals.
Your dream is to hate people.
My dream.
That's not much of a dream, is it, really?
It is.
And I have to say, it's the easiest thing to do in
It
the
is.
world, is
Like-
hate.
It is.
But understanding and education is some of the hardest things that we can do.
No.
You resorted to the easiest thing. Do you know why? Because you want an easy life. A life where you get to hate and just get, and you've been given that easy life by hating.
I don't have an easy life.
Are you going to heaven?
Oh, what a bloody comment you made. No, I don't think I'm going to heaven.
But you're a Catholic. You said you're a Catholic last
I'm
time.
not a Catholic.
What religion are you then?
Mind your own bloody business. I'm not
Are
telling
you lying? You told me you were a Catholic.
I am not a Catholic.
A what?
I
Catholic.
am not a Catholic.
Catholic.
Catholic. I'm a Catholic.
Anyway, anyway, that's immaterial.
Yeah, that's immaterial. Now shut up.
I think
I
call that
think
rap.
he's finished filming.
Content over everything. Content over everything. From your government.
Man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV.
Totally. The economic muscle has now passed from the rest of the world. Do you accept that?
Oh yeah, China will probably be if it's not now. The major economy of the world will be Asia. A, the population, and B,
if
the
England
spread
wants to
of
make
capitalism.
a contract with China for £10 million worth of shoes or something, do you think it's got any chance?
We should be free to have the opportunity.
It is,
That's
it
the
is.
point. And the EU doesn't allow us.